Hello and welcome to the Easy Geek TV channel. In this video, we're going to demonstrate on how you can go through the first steps. As you can probably recall if you have followed the channel, in the last video we went through the installation process. So in this video I want to go through quickly without doing too many changes, without digging too much into customizing the system yet. We'll go through basic settings such as desktop colors. So what I usually prefer to do in my case, I usually like to use the dark background. It's easy on the eyes, and if you have a laptop, it's actually easy on the battery life as well. So I'm going to select that. So we've got the desktop replaced to the dark background. We can change the picture. Let's say we want a different picture from this in here. As you can see, just replace the picture. You can use any if you wish. I'm gonna go with the default one for now. Once we do that, now we're gonna go to the fonts. We do want to up a bit the letters in here. I want them to be a bit more visual. So I'm gonna use the bold in here. Set it to 12. As you can see here, you get a bit of a show how it's gonna look like. Select that. Desktop font, I would say with the Ubuntu bold, again 12. You can play with them and select what's best in your case, right? So without too much changing, without digging too much into customization with this, as you can see, I'm not gonna stay here for too long. Now we can do much more customizing. Like we're gonna go here, go with the Windows border. I like to select the red, so it gives us a bit of a Windows-like behavior, more familiar to most users, especially beginners. I'm gonna select that, and as you can see, the X or the close Windows button is now red, which is what we used to most of the users. We can customize this a bit further. We can go and select a pointer. Let's say I want a bit bigger pointer, or even the existing one, we can just make it slightly bigger. As you can see, it becomes larger and larger. Now you can select which size is better for your case. I'll leave it at in between, sort of speaking. That should do for us. Once we're done with that, as you can see now, it's asking us to go through the updates, but first we're going to stick with the first steps menu in here. So we've done some settings at the top. That's good, and you can go and do much more customization into that. Now we'll not use the system snapshots just yet, because you can definitely do that, but what I mean with it, you have to give it the password. Type in the password. So, right, so a mistake on my part with the password. Nothing to panic. So, now, when you open the TimeShift or the System Restore program, it'll eventually will show you this wizard. As you can see here, you can set, if you just close it by mistake, don't worry. You can start again by selecting wizard. Leave it as it is, rsync in our case. We're gonna go next. You're gonna check the system settings, programs, installed apps and everything, and will suggest us on how we can proceed with creating a system restore. Right, so at the moment this is like the basic. We can leave it as it is and it will be good, but this is not suggested. What I mean, this is not suggested. What we're doing now, we're sort of creating system restore within the same disk drive. This is not the best way to go through, and we will go through this process again in another video, in the next upcoming videos, on how you can use an external disk drive, because using the same internal disk drive where the system is installed is not the best way to go forward. Now on the laptop, of course, it's always the best option is to keep the system restore point into an external hard disk drive, preferably a mechanical one. In the desktop environment, Like say you've got a desktop computer, you got more options, which means you can use another internal disk drive, a mechanical one again, is preferred, and you can use that. But since we don't have that yet, which I will go in the upcoming videos, I'm going to go with the default one. So I'll select weekly. Now, if you create a lot of documents, you want to do daily backups. So keep that in mind. Now, it will let us to select which folders we want to back up. This is good enough for us. It's got the root folder. It's got our personal user folder. And we should go on, and there should be more than enough. Now, we'll take a bit of time. So we're gonna go and create one ourselves. This shouldn't take too long since we got an SSD. Right, so I'm gonna pause the video right here, and we'll restart recording once this is done. So as to not waste your time. Right, so the system restore point, the first one, is already created. Now we can close that, and again, this is not the recommended way of doing the system restore points. We're going to go through in another video, but that should be enough for now. And yeah, this is keep asking us to do the updates. We will go through that, but not yet. Now we'll go through that in a bit. But what we want to make sure, we want to go through the drivers. We'll see if there is any drivers available for our system. In some cases, you might need to install additional drivers, like if you've got an NVIDIA GPU graphics card, it will give you the option to install. In my case, there's no such thing. Everything is up and running, no drivers needed. We definitely need to install the multimedia codecs. We're going to go through that. This is highly recommended, by the way. As you can see, it's asking us. We do want to install that. We'll let it do it. It will ask us for the password. Go on. Type your password, the one you created during the installation process. This shouldn't take long. This actually, you don't have to do this anymore. The first one will suffice. We will not go through the update yet. We'll go right at the bottom. We want to enable the firewall. It is not enabled by default. I don't know why, but we want to make sure to enable that. So, as you can see, where it says status, you can change that. Click into it and just let it do its own thing. So we have enabled the firewall, which will be another step in protecting our system. We're done with that. Software manager, system settings. Now, when it comes to system settings, you'll see that, if you can see here, it says control center. This is like the go-to control center for pretty much everything in our system. Now, we want to go through a couple of things here, but don't want to stay for too long in here. Actually, I'm going to close that, because there's actually a lot of stuff to cover, but I don't want to bother you with that. So I'm just going to select desktop settings. If you cannot find it in here, you can just type in desktop settings. So yeah, desktop settings again. Right, so as you can see, there are no icons on the desktop. If you want to change that, like having a bit of more traditional feel to it, Windows-like for newcomers into the Linux world, it gives us the option to add these icons on the desktop. As you can see, computer, check out on the left here, the icon is there. Home for your home folder and user. Network if you want to add that. And if you wish to, you can add the rubbish bin as well. It depends on your preferences. I'll let them as it is, although I rarely use them, but in your case you might need to use them. In Windows, there should be nothing to change in here. You can go on later on, but as a beginner, not something that I would recommend you changing. Right, so now we're going to go with the update manager. This is very important because we want to have the latest and greatest updates for our system to keep us safe. Apply the updates. We need to type in our password. And it will start the latest updates. As you can see here, it's actually recommending us to switch to a local mirror, sort of the closest server to us, where updates will be faster to download. I think we should go on and do that. Type in your password. Right, as you can see, even though I'm located in the UK, it's giving me a US-based server, which is not good for speed-wise. Like, now, I found the Linux Mint Kiko. I don't know how to pronounce this properly. I found this to be the most reliable so far, so I'm going to go with that. It could be the same in your case, depending on where you're located to, but that should be more than enough. So I don't want to take too much of your time. Once this is done, you have to click here to update the apt cache. It will take a short while, so the cache is up and running. Now, we're not going to go through this just yet, because we don't need to, but what we've done so far should be okay. Now, as you can see, unlike in Windows, updates here are entirely manually. It's up to you if you want to go on with the updates or not. As you can see, there are plenty of updates in here, and I can see a couple of critical updates here, like the Linux kernel. So there you go. This is a Linux kernel. Sorry. This is like the backbone of the system, sort of speaking. I'll go on and select install updates. It will require us to type the password. We have to. And this is something that you're going to come along a lot. You have to type in the password if you want to do administrative changes into your system. Unlike Windows, where things are more like click next, and so on and so forth, and finish. Things here are more hands-on, sort of speaking. You have to type the password for serious changes into the system. Right. Now, another thing I want to mention, although we are not going to use terminal just yet, the dark window, as you can see here, while this is doing the updates, I'm going to explain a couple of things. I'm going to fire up terminal. You can do updates from here as well, but since we are in the beginning steps of the Linux Mint experience, especially if you are a beginner, right? We're not going to use that just yet. We're going to make a very basic usage to that. Like, we're going to use this very, very few cases, because most things we're going to go through will be like via the graphical user interface, not through the terminal. But this will come handy in a couple of cases. We're not going to use that yet. In another video, we're going to do a short introduction to that and how you can do some system updates through the terminal. And believe it or not, this is a very, very powerful tool. And once you get past the scare point, because it does look scary when you first open it, it is so useful that you will be wondering why you have kept away from it, not using it. But as a beginner, let's stick to the basics, like to the graphical user interface. That should be more than enough. Right, since the recording time is going quite fast, I'll skip this part on my side, because YouTube is now allowing me as a new channel to keep the videos up to 15 minutes only. I'm going to pause the recording here and going to come back once the updates are finished. Right, so the updates have just finished, and it's suggesting us to restart, which is a very highly recommended. I'll do that once I finish recording the video, but just to recap. So we've checked the first steps on the welcome window, which will open every time you open the system, unless you uncheck this option at the bottom. So you can go through them steps, customize it to your preference. We did a very basic system snapshot or system restore point. Driver managers, we went through that. We installed the multimedia codecs. We did the necessary updates, and we can go through some more stuff later on. We didn't activate the firewall, which is very important. Yeah. So I think this should be enough for this video, because time is running out, the 15-minute limit. I hope this was useful to you. If so, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow up for more videos. Thank you, and see you in another video. Bye bye for now.